right, have and have not fans. It seems like something I forgot to mention in the episode review for from the 70s was part of the brief exchange between Catherine and Veronica at the dining area or the Artesian Hotel. You know, pretty much the subtle conversation, but you can tell both of them were digging axes, if you will, in each other's backs with their words. And something that really slipped my mind, I didn't even really notice it, was, pretty much, Veronica, jabbing at the fact that, yeah, like a woman with a gun. Yeah. A woman who's rich, with no debt, no mortgages. And a couple of people let me know. It's like, hey, do you think this means Veronica is, well, in the red, so to speak? And honestly, I never really thought about it. I mean, going back to the episode A Cup of Tea, I believe it was Catherine who was bringing up, Veronica's failing businesses and whatnot. Pretty much that hinting at Veronica is pretty much like the Titanic, going down, but a bit slower than most because of her, I guess you could say, cockroach mentality. I think that both Landon and Jeffrey have compared Veronica to a cockroach, where right when you think she's dead and done for, she'll find a way to just bounce back. And I think that's pretty much something that Tyler Perry might be saving for, and I say this loosely, the last season, so to speak, where we truly find out, everything's out in the open, that Veronica is not as, as well off as she wants you to believe. And I mean, you can say that about Veronica a lot when you think about the fact that she has all those puzzle pieces and whatnot. When you really think about it, and maybe a bully is the most simplistic way to break it down. Bullies typically pick on the weaker or the weak just because they put on a facade in order to hide their own insecurities. But in other cases, bullies sometimes are just plain old assholes. Sorry to say it, but I mean, regardless, whether it's a kid in high school or middle school, people in college, or hell, even people in the workforce, they're just assholes. Like, they don't really have, maybe they have like a backstory, so to speak, but yeah, some people are just assholes. I hate to just repeat that over and over again, but that's true. But maybe it's one of those situations where, because Veronica feels scared and weak, she feels the need to have these contingency plans to strike fear in other people. Like, hey, you know what? Yeah, you might be able to kill me. You might be able to threaten me and this and that. But you know what? If something does happen to me, oh, guess what? You're going down, and I have some puzzle pieces in order to secure that. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like, what is it? The weakest dogs bark the loudest. And trust me, Veronica has been doing a lot of barking ever since season 1. So she's doing parading around, my name is Veronica, yada, yada, yada. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's still one of my favorite monologues / speeches from the entire show. But when you really think about it, I am Veronica is like the I'm Batman kind of thing of the haves and the have-nots, where it's a self-announcing proclamation. Maybe it's declaration, but I'm just going to say proclamation because, you know what? I haven't said that in a while. All I can think about is Abraham Lincoln, the proximate. Okay, I just embarrassed myself. I forgot what it was. Wait, he did the Gettysburg Address. The proclamation. Look, guys, it's been years since history. Okay, so don't judge me. But in any case, what I'm saying is, I think that Veronica, I don't know. It's kind of hard to gauge. I don't think she's like poor, but it's like all of her different ventures and whatnot aren't really helping her bring in more money. Here's the way I look at it. Going off from, the earlier seasons, like season 1, we know that she owns she started and owns a rehab facility. And a lot of people are like, why don't these people ever go to work? And I know I'm not really mocking you all, but this is a recurring thing that shows up. Like, some people probably do sound like that. Why don't these people ever go to work? They don't have no damn job. And people forget these are rich people. They have people that work for them. Veronica owns the facility. But guess what? There are a bunch of other counselors that work there. So obviously you got supervisors and whatnot who take care of the day-to-day operations. And Veronica might pop in every now and then to see what's going on. Hell, go back to season 1. Jeffrey was working there for a time, obviously, as Wyatt's counselor. And then there was the episode where, and I forgot the episode name. I know it was one of the earlier ones where Candace, it was like the first time Veronica and Candace had a standoff, and I was in the restroom when she was taking a whore bath at the courthouse after having sex with Jim. And then, Veronica asked Catherine, what do people say about Jeffrey when, me and David leave the room? Pretty much kind of wondering whether or not people talk about the fact that, he's gay. And Catherine, was like, I don't, shoot, I ain't saying nothing about that. And I think that's when she left the house, and she told Hannah, is like, if she wants me to be the person to tell her that her son's gay, she's got another thing coming. And then at the end of the episode, at the rehab center, she's sitting on a couch, and then Jeffrey's like, whoa, Mom, what's going on? It's like, you usually only show up when you need to see a specific patient. It's like, no, dear, I'm here to talk to you. So that lets us know that Veronica rarely makes appearances at the rehab facility, so people work at the facility and she makes money. Now, again, to make a Batman reference, look at Wayne Enterprises, which he inherited from his parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne. But then you have Lucius Fox, as well as other big important business people who make a lot of the decisions and financial movements within Wayne Enterprises to bring in the money, where Bruce Wayne is off being Batman and, being Batman. He does make appearances from time to time. And yes, if you love comic books and whatnot, then you're going to love this channel, because I love making references like that. But I think it is possible that, unbeknownst to us, like literally, I had no idea she had other businesses and whatnot and mortgages. Well, then again, yeah, she did get a new house right quickly, and those businesses. It's kind of like when Jim was getting ready to run for governor, and even more so when he made the announcement that he was still going to run despite the public humiliation the last time he was on television, when it was revealed he had 2 kids by his maid. That, despite my family issues, I've run a lot of successful businesses, and just look at everything that's been going down here in Savannah, Georgia while I was on the bench. So believe it or not, it seems like Jim has successful businesses and whatnot. But once again, we obviously know him best from being a judge, earning money on the bench, not to mention being married to Catherine. So yeah, it looks like he has a lot of businesses under his belt as well, which brought in money, which probably is the main reason why he told Catherine, put that $10 million back in my account. Because yes, guys, I understand this. Catherine's money. She's rich. She's an heiress. But that doesn't mean Jim has not earned money as well. Goes back to season 1 once again, when Celine was talking about how this is his house. Like, no, this is Catherine's house. It's like, well, he's the one with the money. Well, from what I heard, he has money, but not as much as Catherine. So, Jim was working, so was David, but being judges, they stepped down from the bench to run for governor and lieutenant governor, hence why they don't work anymore. And, Catherine is an heiress, so she never really had a job. She might have had some charities and whatnot, but that's it. So, yeah, that answers the question as to why the haves simply don't seem to be working, just to put that out there. But when it comes to Veronica, since Jim has all these businesses and whatnot that he's participated in and ran that we had no idea he did, I guess the same thing could be said about Veronica, which is actually kind of confusing, because remember, the way she got Melissa to come be with Jeffrey and whatnot and get pregnant was on the stipulation of, okay, I'll pay for your father's cancer medication. And then I believe it was said that Veronica saved Melissa's family business from going bankrupt, because I think it was the fact that the father got sick and whatnot with the cancer, so he couldn't run the business as efficiently as he was doing before. And that's how the company was falling into debt, and then Veronica saved it. So basically the bargaining chip was, give me your daughter, she'll get pregnant, marry my gay son, and we'll be continuing the Harrington bloodline. And I think it was said that the Harringtons were friends with Melissa's parents for years. So yeah, I don't know, guys. It's really hard to gauge. I really feel it's like one of those things that we're getting little breadcrumbs about in regards to Veronica's financial condition. And maybe in the near future, we'll get some confirmation as to, okay, if Veronica's really in debt, how much in debt is she? Is it pretty much like a college student, a post-graduation student? When you think about it, like, yeah, we're 5 to 6 figures in debt, and it is pretty sad. I'm in that boat. Being in a a position where I owe a lot of money and trying to figure out how to get it back. But it's one of those situations where, you know, people live it up when they're really in debt. It's almost like keeping up with the Joneses, kind of speaking, where yeah, you might be struggling, but you know what? You're going to keep up your appearances. And you know what? I think that might be another reason Veronica could be in debt, because remember, she wants to keep up this public persona where, you know, that's why she hangs with the socialites, I believe it's the correct term, like Catherine and whoever else, to keep up appearances. Because for all, it goes back to, you know, Veronica's like, this is my house. And then David was like, well, we can't afford it right now. And this is like years ago when they first got together, I guess. But maybe it's because Veronica wanted like the black Barbie dream house, but David was keeping it more discreet. I mean, when you really, it's kind of funny to think about. I never really thought of the comparison, but when you kind of look at the two houses side by side, it almost looks like the original mansion that David and Veronica had kind of looked like the mansion that Philip Banks had on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's pretty cool to think about. I just remember that they were both like mostly white on the outside. And I could definitely see that being a situation, especially when the divorce occurred. So, you know, Veronica and David most likely split their assets in their own way. I don't know how their bank accounts work, but I feel like Veronica, yeah, her house burnt down. And even Catherine was like, oh, you got a house. And it's like, well, you know, Veronica can't be without a house, sweetie, because literally she had that thing furnished and whatnot within 24 to 48 hours. So I feel like she's definitely someone to stunt, if you will, by flashing the cash, wearing all those clothes and whatnot. But at the same time, her money is kind of tied up. I believe even Catherine's like, you know what? You know, I hold much more power at the bank than you do. So with the right phone calls, we can cut off all your money and whatnot, and you'll be out of house and home. So I feel like being an heiress is like, you know, Catherine's money. It's almost like, you know, comparing oatmeal to just a candy bar. You know, oatmeal will stick to your ribs. That's kind of like what Catherine's money is. It sticks to her. Whereas Veronica's kind of flimsy, like it'll just run right through you. And I know that's a nasty example, but guys, you know, I'm just randomly talking here. I definitely feel like Veronica is like hanging on by a thread. Like one simple pair of scissors can cut her loose from everything. Whereas Catherine literally has like a bunch of ropes tied together where it is strong. It is hard to bring her down. Yeah, an easier analogy is like Catherine's wealth is like the roots of the tree, whereas because it runs deep, it literally does, from her father and possibly grandfather, for all we know, it runs deep within the family tree, whereas Veronica's could be blown away as easy as a leaf with a strong wind. So yeah, I feel like Veronica's financial situation might fully be exposed in the near future, but like Catherine's like, you know, hey, you strong arm witnesses when it comes to your court cases, and you allegedly tamper with evidence. So there's no telling how much manipulation and how many people Veronica has had to sleep with in order to get things the way to get into the position that she is now, both within social standing, her career in the courtroom and things of that nature. So it really is a good thing to really think about, because we've only gotten a hint so far, but I feel like in the near future, maybe season 7, that's when we're really going to find out what Veronica's status is right now. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and thanks so much for everybody that brought this up to me, because it literally slipped my mind that Catherine hinted at, you know, Veronica being in a lot of debt. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and yeah, don't hesitate to let me know if there are any other topics you want me to discuss in the near future. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, as well as leaving your thoughts in the comment section below so we can keep the conversation going. On the left hand side of the screen, you should see a picture of Jeffrey Harrington. You can click on him in order to subscribe, but also hit the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content. Also, you should see some videos appearing on the screen as well that I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy if you enjoyed the one you just saw. But also, be sure to follow me on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all my social media will be in the description below. And in order to help this channel hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to need your help. So make sure to share this video as well as the channel around with all of your friends on your own social media. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video.